Hey y'all, it's Dr. Jenny from the block, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel, and if you're returning, welcome back. So before we get into today's gem, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you can be alerted when I'm dropping those gems. So let's get into it. If you follow me on my Dr. Jenny from the block Instagram page, you would have seen that I shared 2 updates on there. The first being that I was recently certified as a diversity professional, which means that I have an official credential to continue the equity, diversity, and inclusion work that I've been doing. I realize I also have not talked about that on this channel. So for those who don't know, ta-da! And I'll get into it a little bit in this video about how I got into this work, etc. But I think the second update, and arguably the biggest update of that post, was that I stopped doing therapy about a year ago, and I have not shared that with you all. And I got a lot of messages, comments, etc. asking me why, expressing curiosity about hearing more. So I want to share that with you in the video today. So I will say first and foremost that it wasn't a huge dramatic thing that happened that drove me away from doing therapy. I have been doing therapy last year. It made 9.5 years by the time I decided to walk away. I've been reflecting on that time and just have so much gratitude for the impact that I was able to make in the lives of others and the relationships that were built during my work as a clinician. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not ever going to do therapy again, but I can say right now in this season of life, that's not a priority for me. There's a couple reasons why I decided to shift away from therapy. And I think the first reason is that I recognize my values. I've talked a little bit about values on my channel before, and when it comes to work, I'm a person that wants to empower people. I want to help solve problems. I want to make big impact, social change. All those things were so important to me. And for a really long time, therapy was one of the ways that I was able to meet those needs that I have and feel really energized about what I do on a day-to-day basis. But I recognized a couple years ago that therapy wasn't giving me the same excitement that it used to when I first started the work. And so it took some time, and it wasn't an overnight process, but after reflecting, I realized that it was becoming a smaller and smaller piece of that pie, and that the equity work I was doing and the mental health training and consulting I was doing was starting to fill up a lot of that space in a really good way and a really exciting way. And so I was, all that to say is that I recognized that my values didn't change, but how I wanted to live out those values did. I think another big reason that contributed to it is that I didn't feel comfortable working in agencies, and I also didn't feel comfortable working in private practice. For most of my career, I worked in university counseling centers. You don't have a lot of autonomy or control. Certain places kind of sanitize the type of clients you can see. So I might be seeing students who are primarily struggling with test taking or anxiety or not sleeping because they're out partying all the time. And after so many years of that, it just doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't feel innovative. And then with private practice, it comes with its own challenges, whether it's chasing down insurance companies, going back and forth with them about payment so that we can take care of our lives. I also didn't like the fact that my livelihood hinged on how many people I could see per week. That felt very disingenuous, because if you schedule 20 clients and that's what you calculated you needed to be able to pay all your bills, right? If you're seeing 20 folks per week, and then 4 no show or have to cancel or whatever, what have you not, you'd have to try to scramble to throw other people in that space. And to me, that didn't feel therapeutic. It just didn't feel good to me. And I really, like I said, didn't like the fact that my livelihood hinged on whether or not someone was going to come to session. And it's really hard to keep therapy equitable because with our society and our economy here, cost of living is going up, but our wages aren't. And if you're trying to be an equitable clinician, you're trying to help as many people as you can, but sometimes that comes at a great financial cost to us. And I no longer felt comfortable trying to navigate that space. It just became too stressful. And then lastly, I'm a person that I'm a fidgeter. I have to move. I have to be stimulated in some kind of way throughout the day. And I realize, you know, oftentimes you're having to sit still for 5-6 hours a day, focused on one person at a time. And some clients, you know, have things about like if you're fidgeting or moving, or if they feel like you're not paying full attention to them, that could be very distressing, which I'm not putting down clients for having that expectation. But for a person like me, it was just really hard to sustain. And so this decision to leave therapy wasn't easy, but I had to think about what I was already doing in the background, because a lot of people don't know about the equity, diversity, and inclusion work I've been doing. So I had to remember and affirm myself and my needs, and recognize that the things that I was tackling or pursuing on the outside of therapy was definitely going to, and is definitely going to, have a greater impact on people, on our communities. So I'll use that to segue to give you kind of a brief rundown of what I've been doing in the equity space. So I started equity, I kind of stumbled into this work 6 years ago, started with a job that turned, we thought it was going to be one thing, and it definitely turned into equity work. By 2020, I was doing it on a more formalized basis, more consistent basis. I have been afforded the privilege to sit in rooms with top people at international companies. This work has definitely been really cool, but also challenging. And it's also opened my eyes that a lot of people actually might have outdated views of what equity work is. And I know it's a firestorm where people are talking about DEI, EDI, and all those things, but really people need to understand that as we move to being a global society, learning how to prioritize equity, learning how to leverage human capital and solve real life business and organizational issues through doing equity work is the future. It just is. And I've had no shortage of work, and that just, I think, really lends itself to how important this is and how impactful it is. So about a year ago, you know, I knew I was ready to get out of therapy. I started looking for jobs that were different. One of my close friends sent me a psychologist job for the government, but it was therapy related. But as I stumbled across that website, I actually found a equity role in the Department of Corrections. Never thought I would work for corrections ever. And I am sitting in rooms with very powerful people helping to make really important decisions that will not only impact our almost 9,000 staff members, but that will also impact tens of thousands of people across my state. And it's been a very cool journey. This work, as I continue to do the consultation outside of my main job, has afforded me to be able to travel for work. I've been flown to Toronto, Canada, Palm Springs, California, Chicago, Illinois to do this. I really feel that this work, because of how passionate I am about it, it has been taking me places I never thought I would go. And so this work is having huge ripple effects. And I'm just really excited about this equity journey. Equity work at this point, like I said, is not about potlucks and cultural sensitivity. They're looking for people that are innovative, that can think both large scale and small scale, that are problem solvers to do this work. And I think I'll make a different video really breaking down how this work has changed over time. But I just wanted to briefly share these updates with you all. And I'm really excited to share more about, you know, this work that I'm doing, because even though I'm doing equity work, I'm still consulting as a mental health trainer and practitioner. So I still do supervision. I still do work with companies and agencies around well-being and all those stuff. So the psychological part is embedded in all of those things, and the mental health piece is still there. So I'll pause there because y'all know I can talk, but I just wanted to share this piece of my life with you all, because I feel like I've kind of been keeping it close to the chest for this time, for the last year really. So, you know, share your thoughts. What are your initial reactions? What are your questions? You know, per usual, you can write me on Dr. Jenny from the Block on Instagram, or you can write them here in the comments right below. Don't be shy. I definitely respond to like 99.9% of comments that I get. I want to thank you all per usual for your time, checking me out, listening to what I have to say, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Until then, take care. All right. Bye.